Okay, here we go again. We're here with Jeff Newhard of Newieco Wholesale and Auction House. We're here with episode 13 of the MAREI podcast. So welcome back, everyone. Hopefully everyone's handling the pandemic. But now that's over, obviously we could deal with riots. So that's always nice. But the awesome thing about Jeff, your location is at least you're not in the plaza, kind of hidden away from all that stuff. So that's
No, I'm not. It's nice being in this underground cave I've got here.
good. Hidden away. So thanks for joining us. Go ahead and tell people, who you are, maybe a little bit background. It could just be something quick, and go into Newieco and what you wholesale and auction off there.
Okay. Thanks for having me on for episode 13. I'm Jeff Newhard, Newieco Wholesale and Auction House. A lot of you out there known me for years, and some of you I'm brand new to, but that's my phone going off, so.
It's all good.
Sorry about that. Been around for years. Got into the business of real estate back in the early 90s. So I've been in and out of it quite a while. Got out of it for a while when I went on active duty with the Army for a few years there, and kind of just dabbled around the edges while I was doing that. But then back in 2013, I eventually retired and did some of the government contracting stuff while I got more and more back into real estate, and then picked up some e-commerce along the way and started doing some online sales. So it was fun. It's just expanded from there. Looking for ways to improve both my real estate investing, and then got the idea to how to improve others. So I started buying whole truckloads of big box retailer stuff. You can kind of see in the background here, I've got some vanities sitting back there now, but I used to get, before the big pandemic hit, I was getting about a truck a week and going through it and auctioning it off and selling it to anybody that walked in. As soon as the pandemic hit, of course, we couldn't have people in the warehouse just wandering around and breathing on each other. So I started putting it out that we go ahead and make some appointments to come in and shop. And as long as we were keeping our social distancing, everything worked out fine. So that really, in my case, as far as the pandemic was concerned, improved my business, because being more one-on-one with the customer, everybody had a chance to ask the questions they needed to ask and do the stuff they needed to do to measure the items. And so it really picked up the sales, and that's probably something I'll keep going with from here on out, is just kind of keep that up by appointment only, and still have our auction and online auction, and we'll open up a few on Saturdays where we'll actually have some live auctions coming up too. Don't have some exact dates on those yet, but those are coming up. That's the Newieco Wholesale and Auction House side. And then I also have the private lending side, which I did back in the 90s too. And it just made more sense for me to have an option to lend that money out that I had to set in there, instead of making 1 or 2% and making a little bit higher rate of return. So that's how I got into that private money lending part. And then we just picked up another avenue for our real estate, as far as our real estate's concerned. Another partner and I had gone way back and done infection control. Well, with the pandemic, infection control picked up, and that really took off as far as our mold remediation and infection control for people out there. So that's another avenue or source that we have here. So we're really not just a warehouse and auction house, but we have multiple streams of income that we have going in the warehouse.
Very cool. Very cool. So, obviously a lot of us are real estate investors, just investors in general, entrepreneurs. It's good to have multiple income streams. Do you run all those out of that location, or is that mostly for product?
Yeah, we run it all out of here. Okay. We keep our product, as far as our infection control, is here too. In fact, if I could turn it around, I'd show you a couple of pallets of solution that we have. So it's here. It doesn't take up that much room. We also have another office in here too that we sit and we talk with our clients as far as the private money lending goes. So right. we run it all out of here. And while they're here, they might as well shop for some other supplies that they need. So it just works out for everybody.
You know, I think you could benefit for some, like maybe a restaurant fitting in the back for some refreshments.
Hey, we thought about opening a bar, but the liquor license is a little rough. But
Yeah, you never know. Interesting.
yeah,
So just okay, so for the private money lending side, I assume fix and flip type stuff, hard money loan, right?
yeah, then it's pretty simple. Back when I first did the private money lending, and I got burned because I had the money, but I didn't know how to lend it,
Sure.
if that makes sense. So I learned a lot of lessons on getting burnt and people's attitudes and that
People
kind of
always
stuff.
pay, right? And projects always do well.
So you say.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's kind of like you tell people, what's going to happen. They don't believe you, or they're a newbie, and you just kind of go along, and you have to prod them along and make sure you get your money and get the stuff taken care of. But I did hook up with another organization that does a lot of that back office stuff for me now. So, they'll do the vetting of the individual borrower, vetting of the property. I just have to get them and present them there, and after that, it's pretty much a no-brainer. I make sure the numbers work before I take them in, before they make sure the numbers work, and make sure the person or the borrower works too.
Do you have maybe for some people that would be looking for that option, some really general terms, or is that just case by case?
Well, general terms are we lend on the project. The project has to make sense. Numbers have to look good first. Secondly is the borrower, the person. Have they been in real estate for a while? Are they a newbie? We do pull credit. Credit score is not a credit score, but we're looking to see if you pay your bills.
Right.
You can't expect us to give you a loan if you can't pay your own primary mortgage either. So you think we're going to get paid too?
Unless it's a loan for the mortgage, right?
We won't do primary residence. Everything has to be lent in an LLC and LLC name. So, and not a primary residence.
Okay.
And that fix and hold type.
The length for those.
Fix and flip can be 6 to 24 months. Buy and hold are usually a 30-year amortized loan with a balloon in 5 years. Stuff is pretty simple, really. The rates are anywhere from 6 to 15%, and anywhere from 0 points to 6 points, sometimes 8 points, depending on the project and the borrower.
And the risk and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
If they're really risky, it's going to cost them a little more money. And it's usually 10% down, so we'll lend on 90% of the purchase price and 100% of the rehab, as long as it's under 65% of the ARV.
And then also, what's the max amount we're looking at too?
No max amount. Minimum amount is 30,000, but no max amount.
Okay.
We only go up to four units, one single family to 4 units on the private money. That makes it real easy. We will go commercial wise above that, but that's just a lot more work and a lot more hassle. But the sweet spot is the single family to the 1 to 4 units.
Okay. And then you mentioned obviously on the stuff with the infection control stuff that you offer services to clean up an area that they believe has been contaminated by the public type thing. Is that how that works?
Well, yeah, and we got started actually doing it with the medical industry, doctors' offices, hospitals, and that kind of stuff. But really, in the real estate industry, really works, especially since COVID-19 came along, is if a client or a seller didn't want people tromping through their house, or a bunch of people thinking they could infect their house with whatever, whether it's COVID or any kind of other infection. We could come along behind them before they came back in and either fog the house or spray the house down. And after 2 minutes settle time, it's ready. You could eat off of any surface in there. So it kind of gives them peace of mind, where we could also go in ahead of time if the house was full of mold and the spray and the fog will destroy the mold electrostatically. And so it's kind of from a real estate perspective, it's just a peace of mind for a lot of people, but it's also a way to also kill your molds, your pre-molds before you send your crews in to tear out a house. It's also a way to disinfect a house before somebody buys it. You can say, hey, we've disinfected this house. It's good to go.
Yeah, that could be like a selling feature type thing. That's kind of interesting. So what's it, how much does something run like that? Obviously probably based on square footage.
Yeah, it's based on square footage. I'll give you an average. It's about 25 cents a square foot. But if you're a returning customer, we got a whole bunch of discount programs in there that it'll bring that price down. But we start out at 25 cents a square foot and then work from there. We're also, all of our companies are veteran owned and service disabled companies. So we always give discounts to law enforcement and veterans and military and that kind of stuff too. So, there's a lot of different ways to qualify for a discount, which, if you don't qualify for a discount, I'd really be surprised because we're walking in the door.
Like if you have a blue T-shirt, it's probably not that easy though.
No, blue T-shirt discount days are not on Fridays. Those are Mondays.
Okay. Special days.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, that's good to know. That's that's an interesting point. Just obviously, just because of the increased awareness about all this stuff, if people are scared before or after, whether like you're showing a house, you're doing construction on a house, to do it after to make it obviously all sanitized, and then as a feature for newer houses, to say it's been not only clean but sanitized. It's crazy. We almost have to even do that nowadays, right? Like not only clean, but everything's been killed inside.
Yeah. But then, a lot of people don't realize too, is as soon as the first person walks back in the door, it's contaminated.
Sure.
That's down the road.
But hopefully that person is, someone not a stranger at least. Your family. So at least, it's better to start at a clean base. So
sure.
That makes sense.
It's a peace of mind, really.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a fun business too. Everything we do here is fun. We have fun with it. And of course, we get a lot of people saying, well, we want to do what you do. And we look at them and say, there's no way we make it look easy. There's a lot of headache, but we just make it look easy.
Right. And, obviously got to have time and systems built in. Tell me about all the product you have.
Most of the product that we get in the warehouse now, I hate to say it because they get mad if I say their names, but they are from big box retailers.
Okay.
But I'll say it anyway. It's Home Depot and Lowe's right now. More Home Depot than Lowe's. I like Home Depot and their product line is a lot better quality than what Lowe's puts out as far as their reverse logistics goes. So when I buy the product, they have different levels. There's 6 different levels you can buy. You can buy salvage, which is really their trash. People pay to take away the trash, believe it or not, hoping to find that gold nugget in there that makes them a lot of money. Of course, you can get it really cheap. But I buy the high-end stuff, which is called the .com returns. And returns is a misnomer when it comes to the .com world because they can be non-deliverable. They can be damaged box in shipment where the item inside is perfectly fine.
Right.
So everything in here that I get, about 95% of it is just pristine. Very little is it actual item damage. Every once in a while you'll get a leg that's broken or a forklift that's run through the side of a box and caused a hole, which is on the back of the.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't see it anyway. So
it's like scratch and dent. As long as it's in the right spot, it's all good.
Definitely. And every once in a while we'll get a cracked vanity top or the marble's cracked, but that is very, very seldom. So most of the stuff.
We obviously don't want any cracked toilets or anything like that.
And we do get some broken toilets that come in here, which are interesting sometimes, but you
It
just
is.
wonder how they get cracked.
Yeah, right. Now, yeah, that porcelain. Is that so? We're dealing with a bathroom, vanity stuff.
And I do get seasonally I'll get outdoor stuff.
Outdoor stuff.
This
Okay.
year's been kind of a misnomer with that because with the pandemic, nobody's been buying the seasonal stuff to return yet. So I'm hoping that really picks up here pretty quick. Tools, I can get tools running down my ears most of the time. Ryobi, DeWalt, Milwaukee, that kind of stuff. Those cost a little more, so I do those sparingly because it's just a major hassle to deal with from the cost standpoint and then getting the customer standpoint to get them sold. But they are quality tools usually. A lot of weekend, I call them weekend warriors. They get out there and do their rehabbing and say, oh, I don't want to keep this forever, and return a saw or table saw or drill. And they're practically brand new. You can tell they've been used, but blow the dust off and it looks new.
Right. Okay. Like, what are we dealing with as far as like the area, or how much selection is there?
Right now in our warehouse, I can hold 5 truckloads in here. I've only got about a truckload and a half right now. Before the pandemic, we were doing a truckload a week and moving it pretty steadily. The last truckload I got was 2.5 weeks ago, and it's moving out all right. I got a little bit left over of that. I just this morning, right before we got on here, I ordered another truckload, and it'll be coming next week. So it's starting to pick back up as far as the inventory and the stuff I can get. So I'm hoping to get back up to that level where we can get the auctions rolling again and get the stuff through here.
And how are they? How do you determine whether it's auction or wholesale?
Well, how I'm feeling that day.
Okay.
Really, there's no set rhyme or reason. Now, if something has sit here for a month and hasn't moved or hasn't got anybody interested in it, I'll throw that on the auction. But when it first comes in the door, there's really no rhyme or reason how it goes, whether it goes on the auction or whether it goes out on the floor for sale.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool.
And then we do get flooring once in a while, both tile and hardwood and that kind of stuff. Runs the gamut, and it's usually really, really nice stuff. We get whole pallets of that stuff that people love. It doesn't usually last long once people find out it's here.
And how do you, what would you say, like the pricing looks like? Obviously people are trying to get, a pretty good deal, and it depends on the condition. If it's near perfect, it's going to cost more than, something that, has a little bit more visible damage.
Sure. We start, and this is just starting, we start at 40% below retail. We look up what the retail pricing is, and we start there. The more people come in, the more they buy, or they buy more than one item, the price comes down to, we start at 40% below, and people have sometimes walked out of here at 40% below that. So it just depends on pricing and what they're interested in, what they're looking for. We'll work with a lot of people in many ways, but one of the things that really people are unique and people are funny sometimes is that you come in and you show them, hey, this item is 40% below retail. Oh, will you take $10?
It's not a garage sale.
Yeah, it's not a garage sale. It's a little bit of negotiation, but not $2,000 off.
Right. It's not like the things from the 70s and it has rust on it.
Right. Well, like most of these vanities behind me, I took them out of the original shipping boxes just a picture because people don't get a view of a brown box and see what it is. And then people want to come in and say, well, you said it's brand new. And I say, I took it out of the box, the picture. It is brand new.
How much would something like that in the gray be right now?
In the gray without the top, that piece is, I I think it's $669 retail. So without the top, we're selling it for $250,
Okay.
and that gives enough room for people to go find their own top, or find another piece for it. The brown one, I'm not sure if you see the brown one next to it. The brown one's $776 retail, and right now I've got it listed for $500.
Okay.
So, if people come in, and we can always talk and buy more, and the price goes down too. So
Yeah. No, I mean, your main customer, rehabbers, flippers, and even probably people just looking for buy furniture themselves, right?
And this pandemic has been great for the honeydew people, and redoing their bathrooms and kitchens since they had to be at home and quarantine. And I had a lot of people come in doing that, just finding stuff for their own honeydew projects.
Okay, awesome.
Been great for that.
No, that makes sense. And do you have a site for people to do the auction? Is it done a certain way?
I've got several sites. Well, from an advertising standpoint, we do mainly Facebook.
Okay.
For both companies, or all three companies really. From the auction standpoint, we use palletbid-kc.com. It's palletbid-kc.com.
Okay.
And that's where we'll start putting our lot bids on there. Probably starting middle to end of this month, we'll start putting a lot of information out on that.
Is that so you said palletbidkc.com.
Yeah.
And that's where you could get single items or bulk.
Yeah. You can go out there, and we'll have our we'll either have it set up as an auction or a buy now. Either way, we're going to start having some, say, Saturdays when people can come in and inspect the items, and then they can go back and bid on them, kind of like the Cargo Largo model, except it's online with a app that you don't have to wonder if you win the bid or not. You'll know right away if you win the bid, or you can bid higher if you need to, if somebody else is bidding against you.
So obviously in the MAREI community, there's a lot of people that are doing the flipping and the buy and hold rentals, Airbnb, stuff like that.
Sure.
Is there any general information or tips or tricks you'd like to give to those people that would correlate to your business? I mean, should they be looking for a certain type of product, or?
I like to tell people that the two things that sell a lot of houses, of course, are the kitchen and the bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're a fixer or flipper or whatever the case may be, you come in here and you get this pristine product, and it just looks a lot better. It looks like you over rehab, but you didn't, because you got it for less than you would have got it anywhere else. So why not come and get it for a cheaper price and make it look good for these people, so that when you have these houses for sale and people want to live there or buy them, it just looks a lot better, and you get a better product price for your product.
Right.
So whether you have like a really nice vanity, or you have a range hood on your island, and you got lots of cabinets in here we could work with too, as far as kitchen cabinets and island butcher block countertops, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of little techniques that you could use for getting a better profit on your stuff.
Makes sense. Tell people what your Facebook sites are for these, because I assume you could tell them about the other businesses too, but I assume the inventory is posted pretty often on the Facebook site, obviously.
Sure. If they get out and like and or follow Newieco Wholesale and Auction House on Facebook, and also Newieco Private Capital on Facebook. Those are the main sites that we post a lot of the product on, back and forth too, between the two. And our prevention site is HI prevention.com. It wasn't originally a Newieco part of it, but most of the stuff that I work with or do, I kind of keep that Newieco name to kind of keep it so people know who they're dealing with in the long run. And we also offer people who borrow money from us from the private lending aspect. Well, they can come in here and get stuff at my price, which is considerably cheap for a lot of it. So it makes sense to offer them a discount too. If they're borrowing money from me, might as well help them out and get a better price for their product too in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. You could obviously help people with their project, you know, in a few ways. And
Sure.
I was just looking at your Facebook site. You know, obviously you have all the product on there, what comes in. And I'm sure people like, even if you've got something with a little damage on it or maybe scuff, it's not the end of the world to repaint the thing,
Oh no.
you know, form it back up or, you know,
Touch it up or
yeah, I
put it
mean,
back together or whatever.
pretty handy nowadays.
And we've done that on some items, and that's when we were kind of bored during the pandemic and looking for something to do. But you couldn't even tell it we touched it up or done anything to it. So.
Awesome.
Didn't know we were that handy when we were bored.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people picked up some new trades because apparently, you know, there's 30 million people out there filed for unemployment. We got a lot of spare time right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's starting back up.
Yeah, it should. It should.
Yeah. And like we were talking about earlier, you know, I don't know, most of the, at least from the commercial multifamily space, you know, hasn't been too much effect. You know, collections are good. Vacancies have been still pretty low. I would assume even from maybe the loan side, has that still been pretty strong?
It's been steady. Actually, the company that I work with now, a lot of the major big boys that were backed by Wall Street and using their funds and their money, they dried up overnight. And we are truly private money, people who have come to us because they didn't like the returns they were getting on Wall Street or the ups and downs or the big ups and downs. And so they invested in real estate with us. And so it, from a pure money standpoint and having money available, that is not a problem because it's, lack of a better term, running out our ears.
Yeah.
We can't deploy it quick enough. You know, if you got the right project and the right person, then you're pretty much guaranteed funding.
People are always looking for yield. If you're a strong believer in inflation, as I am, you need to be in assets and, you know, keeping up with inflation, and you got to put that money to work and not keep it in your bank account. Because as we know, that's nothing.
Less than 1%. If you bank.
Right. Cool. No, you got a lot of stuff going on. This warehouse auction thing is pretty awesome. I mean, I have to admit, I didn't know, you know, I didn't know about this. So that's pretty cool. And obviously a lot more people will find out about it as we post it.
Sure.
Go ahead and give people your contact info, name and number if to wherever, and then also your location. I don't know if we said that. Maybe we did.
We can do it again because our address is unique, because if you're doing Google Maps, it will take you to a laundromat. But we are at 815 West 23rd Street South, and the South has to be on there or you end up at the laundromat. In Independence, Missouri, it's 64055. We are below Salon Summit Academy, which is a hair and beauty school and massage school, which is great. Having them upstairs for me, because
you own that too, right?
No, I don't own that. We worked out a deal, and they give great massages. So I'm every Friday, 10 o'clock, I'm up there, or had been until the pandemic hit, but I'm just a massage dummy for the people going through the massage school.
Oh, nice.
It's a great symbiotic relationship there.
Yeah.
But they do, the people up there are great. They work with a lot of people, and I'd suggest if you were looking for a good place to find a new and upcoming hairstylist or massage therapist, that would be the place to start. So we are in the basement there. on the side of the building. I like to tell people under the Nexus sign, the old hair care sign. Nexus is right above my door. My name is, of course, Jeff Newhard. You can get a hold of me at Newieco, Newieco @hotmail.com, or Jeff at privatecapitallending.com. And the phone number for everything is 816-721-9869.
Awesome. Okay. So I think, yeah, there's multiple ways to contact you. Obviously, hit you up on Facebook, and you probably admin those. So I'm sure your phone's blowing up all the time.
Yep, I get quite a few calls, especially when we post new stuff.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
Got to get in here, got to be the first one in the door.
Sounds good. I think that should wrap it up for us. And obviously, you busy guy, you got a lot of stuff to attend to. One thing I always usually forget to say too, obviously Kim Tucker runs the MAREI group. She wants me to mention, if there's obviously members, join for a pretty cheap rate. You got a lot of access to a huge resource. You get, the Home Depot discounts, everything like that. You get the network, and if you're a company that wants to become a partner with MAREI, it's $4.99 a year or $135 a quarter. And then obviously you have access to the email newsletter and print newsletter. Check out stuff at marei.org/membership. Sure. I don't know who's almost not a MAREI member nowadays, but
not everybody in Kansas City in the real estate.
There's always new real estate investors out there. Real estate's super easy, right? And you just get rich in a couple months.
Just watch HGTV and you can do it all. I love those people when they walk through the door. Say, come over here, sit down. We need to talk.
We're gonna lay out reality.
Yeah.
I always tell people you will definitely have hard times. I mean, it's been the cool thing to do, I feel, the last decade.
Yeah. It's been fun.
But we're still around.
All right. All MAREI members get a discount.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So you guys got the contact info. Obviously, look them up on Facebook. Thanks, Jeff, for joining us. We'll have to have you back on sometime here in the future, see what else you're doing. And I appreciate all the information and letting everybody know, how to take advantage of, your services.
Sure. I appreciate it, John. Thanks for having me.
All righty. Thanks all. All right.